Hey y'all, Matt here with another Bible study video, and today we're actually in Disneyworld at Epcot, and I'm actually standing in the World Showcase in Epcot. And the cool thing about the World Showcase here is it actually represents 11 different countries from around the world. And one of the cool things that Disney does very well here is it totally immerses you in the culture here. So when we go from country to country, you see the languages of that country, you see the different foods of that country, you hear the music of that country, you get the drinks of that country, and you get everything. You get the landscape, and you can very quickly see how we bring our presuppositions of our own culture into these new ones. And this is just a tiny glimpse of kind of what we experience when we read the Bible sometimes. Sometimes when we read the Bible, one of the biggest obstacles can be these presuppositions that we bring, especially in the Old Testament, just because the distance in our culture is so far from the culture back then in the ancient Near East. And when we impose our culture on the Bible, it can be very dangerous. We can get lost very quick. We can read things that aren't there. We can misunderstand stuff. One of the great examples is the books, movies, and social medias of today, of our culture. They all focus on the self. They focus on promoting ourselves as individuals. And back in the biblical times, it was very different. This is actually a new thing to focus on the self. It's only been around in the last couple hundred years. And even today, if you go to other countries, they aren't so self-centered as we are. The pressure isn't to be an individual, and we see this a lot when we read the Bible, because in this culture back in the ancient Near East, it wasn't like that at all. What they actually focused on was the society or the group as a whole, especially what we see about the nation of Israel. Typically they wanted what was best for that nation, not just the individual. And we see this especially displayed in Exodus 12 when we read about the Passover, how Egypt, basically all of Egypt as a whole, as a group, paid for the sins of Pharaoh as their newborns were killed. And we see this again in Joshua 7 with the defeat of Ai over the sins of one person that violates God's rules and steals some loot that he wasn't supposed to steal and hides it. And they lose a battle as a result of that. The whole community is punished. And for us, a lot of times this doesn't make sense because of our cultural gap. It's so different for us today because we think of the individual. Another problem that can come with this is that a lot of times when we read the Bible, we read it for us and not for God. If we read the Bible looking for us and what it says to us in it, oftentimes we can get stuff twisted, misconstrued. We try to read ourselves in places where we really don't fit. And that's a danger that we have to avoid. When we read the Bible, it's a story about God. It's got how God has revealed himself to us, and we have to keep that in mind. We have to read the Bible, read Scripture, looking for what God is teaching us about himself through history that he's revealed himself in. But I hope this video has been beneficial to you. If it has, please tune in for the next one. We'll probably be in Magic Kingdom for the next one. Until then, I love you guys. Blessings.